Can't stop me. I'm telling you fools that I got nothing left to lose. Broken and bruised, black and blue, still on the move. And I'm showing the world I still got a lot more to prove. Now I'm coming out, swinging for your phone to ring. Standing there bleeding, yeah, you know what I bring. Know what I mean? Dark when the bell is rung, cause it's a little too late now to tell me run. Get up and run. You're broken every part of me. I'm putting it up in down. I keep rising higher, higher, higher now. Don't fuck with me. Never gonna hold me down. I keep rising higher, higher, higher. The world can't stop me now. You see it's a calm before the storm. I was born for more, now you got me ready for war. Remember my name, everybody out of my way. Back up or get knocked out, this ain't a game. Cause I never stay down when they push me around. See the world stand up when they give me the crown. Now it's no time, do or die, dead or alive. You can try to kill me, but I will survive. I will survive. You're broken every part of me. I'm putting everything down. I keep rising higher, higher, higher now. Don't fuck with me. Never gonna hold me down. I keep rising higher, higher, higher. The world can't stop me now. You can't stop me. Can't stop me. No, 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 you can't stop me. I'm bloodied and I'm beaten down. I keep rising higher, 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 higher. You've broken every part of me. I'm bloodied and I'm beaten down. I keep rising higher, higher, higher now. Don't fuck with me. Never gonna hold me down. I keep rising higher, higher, higher. The world can't stop me now. Can't stop me, no, can't stop me.
What's up, everyone, and welcome back to Ill Trained Fighters. As always, I'm Athen.
And I'm Don. Sorry. Oh, like that song's like super loud and I have to like crank down my volume. And then like I can't hear myself, and so it's like, am I muted? And yeah. All right. I'm back. I'm Don. So what's been going on, man?
Not much.
Another week?
Yeah, just another week. Another normal week.
Yeah. Just back into the grind. How's the job working out? Since is the weather actually improving for you out there, or what?
The weather is improving. But right now I'm in between jobs because of COVID. They ended up having to reschedule some of the jobs that we had. So they got pushed back. So I got laid off temporarily, and we're moving to California here at the end of this month. So I just was like, it's pointless to get a job for 2 months. So.
Oh, gotcha. Well, I mean, it's not exactly pointless. I mean, if you can pick up like a temp spot somewhere, just make money if you can. But I don't know. That's up between like you and Des on with the kids and what works best.
Yeah.
So
that's
what part were you guys moving to?
We're moving back to where we came from, so just Northern California.
Does that city have a name or
Redding?
Okay.
So yeah, just right there in Northern California, up by Shasta.
Yeah, I don't know.
Eureka, the very, very northern part of California. So.
Oh, okay. Damn, that sucks. I mean, this whole thing hits everybody in like different ways. So.
Yeah.
All right. Actually, as for stories, I just came across this one again. Let's see. So apparently, there it is. Somebody figured out how to somebody figured out what was going on in if anybody doesn't know, Grand Theft Auto 5 is notorious for super long, the super long intro loading screen. Have you played GTA 5?
Yeah.
All right, so like as soon as you get on either the story mode or online
mode has got to load in, and
that beginning load in screen takes forever. Right. So somebody figured out. So what's going on is that that the game basically it like does like a not like a fact check, but like an item check on every single deployable item in the game, all like 10,000 items or something like that, or I can't remember how many items. So it does like a data check and like goes through every single item in the game, and that's why it actually takes so long. So there was this modder that actually went through the code or whatever and figured out the game was doing that, and then decided to remove that check system and just had it load the game and pretty much sped it up by like 60% or something, and then told Rockstar about it. And so apparently this headline is that Rockstar pays the modder 10 grand for fixing the online loading times. So
awesome,
right? I mean, every nerd's dream from that point in time. Let's see. Yeah. Rockstar. Oh, so here's the update. Rockstar has applied the new update to the PC edition of GTA Online, which, according to reports from PC Gamer, has seriously reduced load times across the board by minutes. Fine work. Tossed. I guess that's the modder. The GTA community owes you a debt of gratitude. Rockstar has offered thanks and compensation to a player modder who discovered a way to severely reduce load times in the PC edition of the publisher's bullet-ridden MMO GTA Online. So Toss, found a discrepancy on online source code, which could be manipulated to improve Epic title load times as much to I was close, 70% in some cases. His discovery instructs GTA Online to bypass billions of unnecessary coding checks, allowing players to get into the murky online world and start robbing cars and popping domes faster than ever before. This article is from Destructoid.com. So let's see. Earlier this week, most of the day, Discovery responded to fanfic statement to PC Gamer. So he's actually gotten more recognition than.
I was just saying, this game's been out for 10 years, and they're just now like, hey, let's fix this.
It's been out for a long time. Well, I don't know about the online aspect of it, but
online hasn't been out as long as the game itself, but it's still been out for quite a while.
I can't remember because this is like a last gen title, like what 360? No, not 360. Well, wait, not last gen, but the like gen before that. Yeah, this game was out on like 360 and PS 3. No, not 3. Was it 3?
No, I think it came out with Xbox One and the PS4, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, no, but it was out on the gen before that.
Let's see.
That's what I want to say. Yeah, when was the release date?
Let's see.
GTA.
It was released in 2013 for the PlayStation 3 and Xbox 360. Yeah. So,
Yeah.
and then, yeah, because I was having this conversation with someone one of the weeks when you weren't here about GTA 5. And because when it first released on the PlayStation 3 and Xbox 360, it had, it's released then, and then they re-released it for PlayStation 4 and Xbox One with
Yes.
additional content, and then I think they're planning on
Yes.
doing the same thing for PlayStation 5 and Xbox One, releasing it with additional content. So like it's a new game. So
yeah, I mean they're still milking it.
yep.
But it's like but Red Dead they're not adding like enough stuff to it.
Yeah.
Well, that it's also like the time period and like what you're actually able to do in the game.
Mm-hmm.
Like Red Dead, there's just not enough stuff to do.
Yeah, and it's not getting as much support as GTA 5 probably because of that reason. It's like GTA 5. I watched a video. This was 6 months ago, maybe,
Right.
where it was talking about how GTA 5 is like one of the only games to like it's the same game as GTA 5, but it's got like 3 different versions of the game that's been released or going to have 3 different versions of the game. So
yeah,
because I was talking to that was Mickey one of the weeks when you weren't here. I'm pretty sure it was either Mickey or Niko. I can't remember, but telling them how it's like, I played it back when it very first released, but I haven't played it since. So there's content in the game that I don't know. And they're like, it's, the same as it was when it first released. I was like, no, they released additional content. They released a whole bunch of additional content for it through the different releases. But
yeah. So like, my biggest thing about it is like, in order to do like any of the cool stuff, like any of the heists or whatever, it's like you had to have like 4 people, which made it infuriating because it's like 4 people, and then you can only die twice, or no, the team can only like die twice, or technically like on the 3rd time you have to like restart, and it's like if you don't have like a group of like 4 people, you couldn't like solo it, or you and one other buddy, get through it. It's like you had to have like all those people, and like trying to like lobby up with like randoms is just such a pain. And so it's like I was never able to do anything.
I never played really the online because I played the game when it very first came out. So I played through, beat the game, and with me that's usually how I am with games. After I've beat it, I just don't want to play it anymore. So sure. I played it through, beat it, and then was like, okay, I'm done with that. And then I started noticing they were releasing all kinds of stuff. And I'm like, I just don't want to start the game over from the very beginning and play it again. And so I just never got into it. But what I did like about GTA 5 when I first played through is when you beat the game, it gives you a psych eval based on how you played the game.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I can't remember. I mean, not that I'm willing to play the game through again, because it's like I don't know. I mean, it was an interesting concept playing between like 3 characters, but I don't know. I wasn't like all for that. And it's like, I wasn't like a fan of like, I wasn't a fan of like any of the characters that were there.
I can't remember his name, the crazy dude.
Trevor.
Yeah, Trevor. But I liked his character, but that was about it. Like I thought it was cool because Trevor was in like Walking Dead, and he was, he was the only one. Well, the main guy, Mike, I think was his name. He was an actual like actor that was recognizable. So like obviously him, but Trevor, after playing GTA 5 and then like seeing him in different shows and shit like that, I was like, oh, that's dude from GTA 5. So
yeah, I mean, he definitely got like a lot of recognition for it, and that main dude, and I can't remember his name either. I just call him like Discount Michael Madsen.
Right.
So, but if if Rockstar is gonna, actually pay the man and then implement his update, I mean, that's great on him. So hopefully other game companies will follow suit and actually, accept the support of like other players and people that are like dissecting their code and like willing to take like the free help, or just do like some other people, just like find out what they're actually talking about and like try and reverse engineer like how they figured the stuff out and then like implement their fix. I mean, yeah, you can't blindly trust people because people are also kind of dicks and will like put them like what like could like crash your game if they make some type of like update. But
I suppose that true. They could, but I mean, modding is becoming like a really big part of gaming. Like that, it's actually coming like the whole part of the game process in and of itself. Because I know, especially with a lot of your like survival type games, they're using modders in the actual development of the game. So it's like take Ark for example. So Ark released in a pre-release state and all that stuff. So it releases out, everyone's playing it, and it's open for modders. It's got really good modding support. It's pretty easy to mod, I guess, from what I've heard.
Sure.
So what happens then is all the modders go to work creating mods for the game, creating new maps, creating new content for the game. And as that all goes through, people are playing with these mods, finding out which ones they like. The developer for Ark actually goes through and, ranks them in an official capacity of like, they have a rank board of all the different mods, and at a certain point they go through and they have the community vote on the top so many mods to find out which ones they want to implement into the game. So they'll actually implement features for mods or actually complete mod kits into the game as part of the game updates. So, and when they do releases for new maps and all that stuff, they always drop at least one that's a modder created map for the game.
Right. Yeah, but then they also said like the same thing with Bethesda, because I know when Fallout 4 came out, they publicly announced like mod support. But then again, they were also saying that if you develop a mod that's like good enough in Bethesda's eyes, like we'll actually implement it into like the game and update it and then like make it like an update. But guess what? They never did. Nothing was ever good enough and nothing was ever made official. And like some of the mods for those games are like amazing. Just like when it came to like frame rate fixes, graphical fixes, texture fixes, like all that stuff that like made your game run better. It's like they still consider it just like an off-market mod that they couldn't condone. And it's like, so the way it works with like a lot of mods, for those that don't know, is like you have your game, you have your mod, is like that mod is like an update or an extension for the game that changes the original state of it. And so like we're talking about like you can have a game but like by activating the mod, you create a separate save file and your achievements halt. So you can't get credit for completing like certain things in the game, because there are some mods that are like basically like God mode and cheating with like skills, like games like Skyrim and Fallout are actually known for. And so it's like, yeah, I can install a mod that doesn't have the company's blessing, that makes the game look better, makes it run better, but I still can't, do all this stuff that I really want to do achievement wise.
Well, but I think as far as the mods on like Fallout and Skyrim go, is they're not quite the same as what you get for like the survival games, like the MMO style like survival games. Because
it depends. I mean, there's just like a broad spectrum.
Well, but in like Fallout and Skyrim, it's a single player game as one person playing. So when you're doing that, you've got to go through and search out all the mods, put the mods together, put the mods into the game that you want to play. And, then you're like, oh no, I don't like that one. So you got to take it out. You got to do the fucking around with the mods. Whereas in games like Ark or Atlas, those mods are done by the server owner. So whoever's renting a server or paying to have the machine to run a server is picking those mods, putting them on to the servers. So for the most part, most of your end users in those games like Ark and Atlas, they don't have anything to do with the mods. They just pick a server that's got them, they go in and they play with the mods. So I think in games like those MMO ones, the mod and modding is a lot more accessible to the general populace playing, so it gets a lot more use and it gets a lot more support from the developers. Whereas like I said, in Fallout and Skyrim, you're having fewer people that are actually putting effort into the mods, so you're not going to get as many people that are like swearing by or as polished of mods in those games as you would in like an MMO type. Like even Grand Theft Auto has a bunch of mods, and I don't know if Grand Theft Auto supports the modders to the extent of like Atlas, but the mods in like Grand Theft Auto are pretty polished, just like they are on the Atlas and Arc type stuff.
Yeah, I mean, it does depend on like how much effort the modder's willing to put in, but it's like modding it came from like PC culture. And these single player games. That's where like the Thomas the Tank Engine meme comes from, and like, the Macho Man like memes, that all that stuff was like Skyrim, and then like, but I'm saying it's like, yeah, you can have the extreme of like Thomas the Tank Engine, that can be unsanctioned by the company, like that. Granted, right? Granted, they're not going to give it that blessing, but like so I'm getting back to how it ties into the story on like people modding in order to improve the game. Like, I wish like more companies would take Rockstar's action, let's say, and actually listen to their community, vet out, like listen to the input and see what people have to say, and then actually implement it if it's actually worthwhile. Because I'm pretty sure that like Rockstar could have like not paid the guy, and he still would have been proud and was like, Rockstar implemented like my fix to it, and they gave me recognition. And it's like, but now they paid him $10,000. I mean, that's still awesome when a lot of companies are getting layoffs. They can't even keep their own staff. But.
Right. And I think it's also, and like I was saying, and that's how Arc and Atlas, at least Arc, I know I've heard a lot that Atlas, the modding for it isn't as well supported, but I think Atlas is kind of more just an in-between game for that company until they get to going with Arc 2. But like
that's what I heard is like they're working on Arc 2, so a lot of stuff's getting put on the back burner.
Yep. So, but with Arc, they actually have modders that are like official modders for the company. Like they're not like legit employed by the company. They're modders that through the mods that they created and all that stuff, they're endorsed by the company. And I think through some of them, the company actually does pay them for their work on mods and all that stuff to release updates, just to maintain and update the mods. The company will go through and actually fund them for that. So it's like they're subcontracted effectively.
So how's that working? Is that based off of like how many downloads to the mods, or like
Yeah, because all the mods for it you can go through Steam to get to. So they're all like a Steam supported mod. So they can track the popularity of the mods. You have people playing, vote for the mods, and all that stuff. So through all that, towards the end, towards when they're going to get ready for the next update, they go through and they're like, okay, well, they'll put it out on the developers boards and all that stuff, right? So coming up for the contest for the next, game content, they'll put it up for a vote on that. So, and it works really well. Arc is really smooth. It's got the mod support that you can get on that is like crazy. Like there's legit mods that you can get for the game and in Atlas, because there are some modders that are good enough to make Atlas that change the game completely. It's like an entirely different game. So it's like with Atlas, there's a server, a private server that runs right now. It's in between seasons, so it's not up right now. But I guess it's kind of like a test bed for future content for the game. So they'll go in. It's like, it's modded to the point of they've got a whole economy and they've got a whole like system where you have pirates and you have privateers and you have like naval type ships and the areas where they're allowed to PvP and where they're allowed to do PvE and all that kind of stuff, and who they're allowed to PvE or PvP with, and types of ships and how the ships are manned and all that stuff. It's
So hopefully this trend picks up and they keep on, paying these modders for their work. Kind of like when YouTube started paying, ad revenue out to content creators.
Yeah.
Like, oh, we're going to pay you money to keep on making more videos so people can keep on, using our platform. Yeah. So hopefully it picks up.
Hopefully.
Yeah.
And in the beginning of YouTube, it was actually really easy to get monetized. All you had to do is be like, yeah, I want to get monetized.
Yeah, because it was based off of, it was just like views. And now like they completely changed the algorithm and now it's like a whole mess.
At the very beginning when they first started, you had to be invited by YouTube. And then with that going and it was actually doing really well, then they opened it up to anyone. If you wanted to go on and get monetized, you just say, hey, I want to get monetized, and they'll go and make sure that your channel, basically doesn't have any strikes or anything like that on it. And they'll be like, okay, they'll monetize you, and then you got to do the work to actually earn money. Now they changed it to where you had to have, because my channel was monetized.
Before it was like view based. That's why you had like a lot of animators going to YouTube because they can actually spend the time to make like a good animation, get the views, and then get monetized that way. But now, like when they change the algorithm, it's like based on views, like minutes watched, like if they click on suggestions, like so many things.
There was actually a period of time where they didn't really have any restrictions on to get monetized. You just had to say, yes, I want to be monetized, and then not have strikes on your channel. There was no limit. Because when it first came out, you're right, it was based on views, but YouTube would ask you if you wanted to monetize. You had to be invited to be monetized.
Right. So, but I meant like the algorithm in order to make more money now.
Yeah, so now
they changed the way that they optimize for you to make money.
So now you have to have a minimum number of subscribers, a minimum number of views within the last month, the minimum number of minutes viewed within
if the person, how long the person stays on YouTube after watching your video, if they click one of the suggestions after your video, like YouTube's like so crazy right now. And it's like people are like trying to find like the best success, and then there's like you've also got the whole YouTube clips. And then there was and then with the algorithm, somebody like exploited the system where he was like, about making clips, and there was like the whole survey community thing. He exploited that, and it's like, I just put a survey, and it's like if you click the survey, and it's like it then brings more people to my channel, and it's like, and it's like he like beat the algorithm and like gained like, I don't know, a couple 100,000 subscribers like within like no time at all. So shout out to the spiffing Brit for his exploits, because like all things, everything's perfectly balanced. Right. Yeah. I think like last night he just put out a video on like how to hack McDonald's. So there was like one country where it was like, basically, like, say if a hamburger's like $1, it like the patty itself is like $1.10. So if you wanted to, you can order a hamburger with no patty, and then McDonald's would end up owing you like 10 cents. And so if you get like enough like ketchup buns, and then just get like you can have like a burger that will like actually pay itself. So it was like stupid stuff like that. So
So it's like you buy a bunch of just ketchup buns. So like say 10 of them. That way
yeah,
you get the dollar and
that
10
way
cents
you
they
get
owe
the
you, and
dollar in
they're like,
credit.
now you
Yeah,
get your
pretty much. It's like you could just shut down your like McDonald's. Oh yeah, sorry, we can't make any burgers. Like we just ran out of bread. I mean, yeah, it would take like a lot of buns. I guess you could like go to the park. All right, if you also get like no ketchup or anything, you just have like, yeah, if you just have like pieces of bread, you just go to the park and just like, you know,
I'd like to order 10 buns, please. They're like,
yeah,
10 buns? Yes, just 10 buns.
right.
Having a barbecue later.
Yeah. No, it's like I'm gonna solve third world hunger in the duck community at the local park. Feed everything. Oh, speaking of updates, ID Software offers hints about Doom Eternal's PS5, Xbox Series X upgrade. And by the way, Doom Eternal just released its second expansion, The Ancient Gods Part 2. Man, I really got to beat that game. I'm being lazy. All right, so now that the second expansion has been released, the studio is focusing on the PlayStation 5, Xbox Series X upgrade for the game. We spoke to ID Software, Marty Stratton, about what we should expect from the new updated new generation version of the game. Couldn't really get a release date, but provided hints at the upgrade, saying that they were in a good position to take advantage of the new consoles or what they can do. I mean, yeah, I mean, it's good they should develop the games for the new consoles, but it's like when you can hardly get, a new console. I mean, you could kind of like take your time because I think like PlayStation 5 is still sold out in like most places, which I might actually look into getting. But quote from Stratton saying that I've been at ID for a long time, so probably take technology a little bit for granted and scalability of the technology just because it's ingrained in the ID tech culture. Let's see. It's a little pretentious for him to say. Scalability, high frame rates, high resolution, regardless of what platform you're playing on. ID's always had a PC focus. I think ID is owned by Bethesda as well, because Doom is made by Bethesda.
Mm-hmm.
So I think ID's like owned under the Bethesda ZeniMax umbrella.
Is it really? Because ID, that's really, because ID's back from fucking Nintendo days.
Yeah, probably. They got bought out because the new Doom games are their ID, but I'm pretty sure they're Bethesda as well. You know what?
Yeah, the Doom games are Bethesda because they're on that Microsoft Game Pass with Bethesda. So
we'll do it this way. Who owns ID Software? Based in Texas, blah, 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 blah. Oh, formerly called ID Software. Look, ZeniMax Media pops up. Will it come in their Wikipedia? People, controversy, other media, game development timeline, history. Yep. Tim Willis left the company in 2019. ZeniMax was acquired by Microsoft and became a part of Xbox Game Studios.
Okay.
Yeah. So 2 years ago, they were bought out.
Because, ID was Donkey Kong. So that means Bethesda's got... Does that mean Bethesda would have Donkey Kong rights now, or?
Yeah. I mean, if they wanted to, they can shut it down. I don't know if it'd be expansion, Oculus lawsuit.
Oculus.
Oh, yeah. ZeniMax. 2020 present, Microsoft acquisition. Yeah, and Bethesda was bought out by Microsoft. Anyways, back to the story at hand. Let's see, more quotes. Yeah, PC focus. Duh. Once we get the hardware in hand, it's really kind of a back and forth between the technology team, creative team. Ray tracing is a great example. What does it mean for the visual style of the game? Is it going to change? How do we want it to change? Goes from theoretical conversations and laying the foundation and groundwork to the actual decisions of how things look. All right. Like, no BS. That, I mean, normally I can't read, but right here, how things look.
I know a lot of these tech articles have so like it's like they get a freaking fifth grader to type them up. It's like, what the fuck?
Right. I mean, I get what they're what they're going for. Where it's like, yeah, they're mainly PC driven, and then let somebody else make the port. And it's like, because normally, when it comes to consoles, it's underscaled to what like a PC's capability is, right? So it's yes.
Having someone else do the port, like, I get what you're saying there on that, but that can become problematic too, and also because games like 7 Days to Die, that's why 7 Days to Die completely kind of just got fucked.
Yeah, but not necessarily like having somebody else do the port, but it's like putting like the port on like the back burner, right? Mm-hmm. Where like that's not like your main focus. Which, granted, I mean, consoles have always been struggling behind what the PC mass market can do, because I mean, it's basically what consoles are. I mean, they are computers, but they are set to run a certain, let's call it like a standard, games that run at like 30 frames per second, games that have like 1080p resolution, and then like, all these games are universally standard to be able to work, right? When PC, everybody has a different setup, and you can like fine tune the setup or fine tune the game to better work with your setup. And then that's the easy thing about consoles. It's just like plug and play, stuff works. But the hardware that's in these new gen consoles, I mean, they need to, take it seriously to be like, hey, these are actually decent. And so they need to, I mean, that's only the logical step, is that they need to focus on the ports, getting the games on there, and like backwards engineer and change whatever code in order to make those games work. So,
and in games, a lot of these games with mod support, a lot of times modders are the ones doing that kind of stuff too.
Yeah. Because I mean, because I mean, there's people that like emulators have been around for like ever, so that's how the whole backwards compatibility thing like worked out like early on. It's like basically like your Xbox would run an Xbox One emulator, right, in order to play those games, which I think PlayStation just was able to read the disc. So, but I'm not gonna get into that. And yeah, in Xbox One now, it's like you play a 360 game, it runs like a 360 emulator. But yeah. And it makes it look like, oh yeah, you're logging in, you're connecting to the server and all that stuff. But it's not like it reads like the game data. So, let's see. So this is in the rumor mill, and in the news, it's that one. Warzone leakers are claiming that the Ural Mountains map will bring 250 player lobbies. So 250 player lobbies, from what I've heard and seen, is unheard of. The most I've seen is PlanetSide 2, and that's 100 v 100. So 250 players.
So and
Yeah.
So in PlanetSide 2, 100v100, that's 100 people going against 100 people in like an all-out war.
Yes.
I think
Yeah.
that would
With
be
vehicles too.
awesome. And on these large-scale lobbies and maps like this, 250 players, I think would be a lot more fun if it weren't like the new battle royale style thing, where you have squads that are all against each other. I think it should just be a dual front, all out, full on battle at that size of a lobby. I think it would.
So yeah, so PlanetSide 2 played like Battlefield.
Mm-hmm.
Right. Big open area with like some cover and some buildings like out there. And 100v100. So but it didn't feel like 100v100, right? So when I played PlanetSide 2, there was just like, it didn't feel, I never ran into like the massive group of people. And I actually
Mm-hmm.
had a hard time, traversing the map because they made the map like huge.
Yeah.
So you'd you'd be a part of a squad to go to like a certain area, try to do something in the game, and you would run into like, the same 20 people trying to complete whatever objective or like do whatever in that little area. I mean, so it didn't feel like that bad. But the problem with PlanetSide 2 is that, that was like the thing that they were striving for was the 100v100. And so they put a lot of focus on their servers being able to support it, but the game functionally was pretty janky. Like there was
Mm-hmm.
like frame rate issues and even some server issues, so like people getting like DC'd and dropped, but the game was not the smoothest. It didn't have the best utility, like it didn't play really great. But but their gimmick was 100v100 people.
Yeah.
So
And I mean, at that number of people, I can understand how it would complicate things a lot. Because I mean, you are going to have a pretty good sized map in order to support that many players.
yeah.
Because I would figure if you have a smaller map with that many players on there, that would cause a lot of latency issues, I would think.
Yeah, and there were like a lot of I don't know. To me, it felt like latency issues, but I don't know. I mean, but it wasn't that bad. It was just the game itself, because like the game was known to just be janky, and like your frame rates would suffer. Like you could have like a beast of a computer, and then it would still run at like really bad frame rates. I don't even know. I mean, I wanted to say, it's so PlanetSide 2 is actually free on
Mm-hmm.
Steam if anybody wanted to try it out. I got the store page right here. So it is free to play. So it's like mixed reviews, but it's overall positive. But I don't see, let's see if I can. Yeah, so the textures in the game aren't super great, but I mean, it is a free game. And so
I think that's what I didn't like about PlanetSide was the textures, the art style of it. It's like I'm kind of picky when it comes to games like that.
Yeah, it kind of reminds me of like Command and Conquer, but I mean, yeah, you've got vehicles. It plays like Battlefield, and it's like you are gonna need vehicles. Like you can like get a jetpack or whatever, but yeah, it just takes like way too long, just like to traverse the plane. But I mean, if anybody want to try it out, it's free on Steam.
I mean, there's
yeah.
lots of games like that take forever to cross a map, like Eve. Freaking in Eve, you can be traveling for an hour or even hours sometimes, depending on where you're going. That map is huge.
Oh, right. I had the issue where with what was it? I tried to get into Elder Scrolls Online, and like, but that game had like so many inherent issues from the get-go.
Yeah.
Just like the party system, the quest system, it was just like a pain. And then it's like you don't get a horse until like who knows how long, and so you're just like walking around everywhere, and then like just getting lost. So
I'd played ESO a little bit for a little while, and it was all right. But to me it seemed too similar to like Neverwinter and all that stuff, and I was just like never really got into Neverwinter myself, so I just kind of same thing with
Yeah, so Neverwinter is D&D based, right?
Mm-hmm.
And there's actually like even a quest in Neverwinter where like you play like tabletop like D&D. Like they make you like roll dice and like you got like your little figure like going through the dungeon and everything. So that's what I mean. Neverwinter is like based off of Dungeons and Dragons, and then even the latest Baldur's Gate, I think it's like Baldur's Gate 3. They based it even more off of Dungeons and Dragons, where you have to do like perception checks and like checking for traps and then like checking your environment. So that one plays even more like the Dungeons and Dragons. But anyways, ESO, I mean, it played like, Elder Scrolls, but integrating the MMO aspect, trying to make it like WoW, which is successful, and as they should try to make it like a successful model, it just didn't work out for them. There was like way too many bugs with everything,
Yeah.
Oh, and like server issues like out the ass, just like waiting to get online. So not everybody has that type of patience. But
it's been a long time since I played it. It was when it first came out, so
right. So Activision's really trying to like, milk this Warzone Call of Duty cow for as long as possible, because I mean Call of Duty games are only known for like sticking around for like a year and then that's it. But then again, Cold War's not that great. And Warzone's still sticking around.
And that's the crazy thing. Did you know that Cold War, we covered this a few weeks ago when you were on the show. Cold War is actually like in the top 5 of best-selling games ever.
Yeah, but it's a Call of Duty game. Almost every Call of Duty game is like a best-selling game. Like every year.
I know, but this one is like all-time top. It's like it's in the. Let me see where it was, because we did cover this a few weeks ago.
Yeah, but Modern Warfare and Warzone push those numbers. So I mean, it's also like in the recipe for success. But inherently, that game's like not great. I mean, they did update it, they did patch it to make it better. But I mean, look, all right. So I mean, look at the Cold War integration of Warzone. Like all those games are still messed up. Right, or like all those guns are still messed up. Like the attachments are wrong, the specs are wrong. And
I'll agree with that. It was definitely carried by Warzone. Like
yes.
So
I mean, in the single player aspect, like the cinematics were like super janky. Like you get like stuttering, you would get crashes. I mean, there was like a lot of problems.
Well, it's because, and I don't understand why they did this with Cold War, but it's because they were trying to do this next gen engine game on the previous gen engine, because they already had the next gen engine developed and we're already putting games out on it. And then
but it's
Cold War comes out. True, but
that's the issue.
After this one right here on Cold War, all of the games, Call of Duty games coming out, are going to be on the Modern Warfare engine.
Yeah, because they also saw like how much it suffered. All like when it launched, like all the bad reviews for it.
Yep.
Because it's like, oh, our old engine isn't working, and we like our game's like crashing and stuttering. It's like we need to fix this. But so yeah, who did Modern Warfare? Was that Activision? And then Treyarch is Cold War, or
no, I think it's flipped. I think Activision is the Black Ops one, and Treyarch is the actual Call of Duty one. I think.
Right. Let's see who made Modern Warfare 2019. That is, come on. I just can't get like Infinity Ward, published by Activision. Okay. So who made?
And that's Call of Duty. And Cold War is gonna be Treyarch because Treyarch is Black
Cold
Ops.
War is Treyarch and Raven Software, published by Activision. Okay. So there's our divide. Mm-hmm. So Infinity Ward made the new game engine that Call of Duty's been using for the past, I don't even know how many years. So yeah, because we also talked about that on a previous show.
Mm-hmm.
I think it was like, when we kicked AT off, we started it back up again. Mm-hmm. So they made the new engine, and then Treyarch is like, well, we ain't got time for that. Here's the game. Let's just do what we've been doing. Use the old engine, try to add like new stuff. It wasn't great.
It was the worst timing for them to do it because right here when the whole Call of Duty franchise is trying to go to this more.
I mean, they were trying to evolve. Mm-hmm. You know,
and then here comes Black Ops, just like fuck your plans. Because it's like it probably would have went over real smooth and nice if Black Ops had used the new engine for the game. That way everything would have integrated and it could be this ever evolving single game like it seemed like they're trying to do it instead of dropping a new title every single year. I think they just want to go with one title that's just going to continuously evolve with the kind of like the whole Grand Theft Auto
but
formula.
You also got to think about, like, at the time, when Modern Warfare released, I'm sure, like, Treyarch was in the middle of production of, Cold War. So it's not like they could scrap everything and go back to, like, the brand new engine that they had, because, I mean, these guys get, like, 2 years to, like, make this game.
Mm-hmm.
Right. But Cold War does play like a Black Ops game, just like what you've tried and true, that super arcadey style. But then, us as the players and the consumers, we got spoiled with Modern Warfare on how nice it looked, how smooth it looked, animation wise, textures, like all that stuff. We got spoiled. And so when we went back to, tried and true Black Ops type Treyarch game, which, everybody loved, it just wasn't cutting it anymore. Yeah.
So, which sucks. I mean, I do wish, because I think Black Ops could have been a really good, or not Black Ops, Cold War could have been a really good game had it worked out with that engine. Because even me, I tried to play Cold War. I was playing it for a while, then eventually I just got burnt out and tired of it because, like you said, it was buggy. It just wasn't the same.
Right. I mean, and there are aspects of like the single player part of the game which are really cool. How like you have a base and you get to like communicate with like all the different characters instead of just going mission to mission. That part's cool. I'm like I'm all down for that. But then like when you actually get into the missions and then you have like your game crashing, or if you have like your cutscenes that are supposed to be amazing, run at like 10 frames a second or whatever. I mean, it does really, really pull you out of it. But I did like, I do like that aspect of like, interacting with these people and like a quote unquote being a part of the team and like talking to them with all the other stuff. So, but there was like other games that did that too. Metro was doing that. Even the new Wolfenstein games were doing that. Where it's like, you have like your missions or whatever, but then like you would go back to base and like interact with everybody and all the other stuff. So, let's see. Yeah.
Oh, I was gonna say just a couple weeks ago on one of the shows you weren't here. Mickey and I kind of talked about that stuff a little bit. We mentioned a lot about like the Call of Duty games and all that stuff, and then how pre-release and all that stuff, and he's talking about how he doesn't like playing games that are alpha, beta, or these pre-release type games and all that. And I was trying to explain to him how that stuff is there for the development of games. It's like we're shifting to a different way games are being made.
No, it was.
Mm-hmm.
It was for the development.
Yeah.
It's not anymore.
Not anymore, no. But, well, kind of it is, because you have a lot of these, like Valheim, for example. So
Yes.
being dropped as a pre-release, basically in beta status game, but being, you have to pay full price for it and all that stuff. But
yeah, PC's a different beast, though.
Yeah, true. But Valheim is also an Xbox game. But it's with how they're doing Valheim, because it's only a 5-man team that's making the game Valheim. So what they're doing is, I'm sure they're expecting and planning for modders to come in and kind of push that development along.
Well, like I said, PC is a different beast. Yeah, it is available on Xbox, but also, what other early access console game is utilizing the alpha, beta, pre-release system as they should? Atlas,
Atlas and Arc are another one.
Yeah, Arc. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So, what other ones?
7 Days that I tried to, but the whole licensing fuck up with their console port kind of screwed that over.
Yeah, but these aren't also. Yeah, also, I mean, not to talk ill of them. I mean, these aren't like AAA titles, though. They are great games. They don't have the popularity. So it's like companies like Activision, EA that are abusing the system to say, oh, we have the beta out to, basically as a marketing tool to get hype for a game, but they're not finishing the game.
Yeah.
They might make like a couple tweaks to maybe servers, or like I don't know, if there's something with like their whole like cash buying or like item buying system. Yeah, they'll fix that like immediately. What game did that? I think it was it was either Battlefront. It was some EA game, right? That was like inherently filled with bugs, and nobody did anything, right? And so it was like, oh yeah, we'll get around to it. But then, like, when there was an issue with people buying items in game or something, they like fixed it like within hours. So, but
that affects their money.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I know, but yeah, that's the way it's supposed to be. And it was like, your alpha comes out, if you're even lucky to play the alpha, to say, hey, this is a game, this early access, play it, tell us what you think. And then also the developers would track to see what's going on with that game, see how it performs, also see how the servers hold up, and see inherently what people say about the game in the reviews. And then they would continue to develop the game. Same thing with the beta. The beta is the almost finished product. All right, let's see how our work's progressed and see what we need to work on. And then people would do the same thing, but you would expose it to a wider audience, and then you would see how your game holds up. And then you would fix it, and then you would release it. But the way things are working now, it's like the beta comes out and it's like, this is basically going to be the finished project or finished product.
Yeah. So, and the process you were describing, that's like the old school, alpha phase, beta phase, closed, an open alpha beta tests where they'll open the game up to be played for a period of time, and then they shut it down. They address issues that came up during the alpha beta, and then they work into release. Now I think it's being abused by the larger, companies that I just stated. But I think it's the whole alpha beta phase thing is evolving to allow more indie producers to be able to drop good high quality games like Valheim and like Arc and like Atlas. They have smaller teams, less money to be able to work on it, but they release the game in like an alpha state and just let people play it and kind of evolve working on it. So as it goes along, they get stuff from the player base and they fix that,
Yeah.
they correct that, and it draws more players and make more money.
Yeah, and they're
And-
also not charging like $60, except for like maybe Star Citizen. And speaking of, I need to get Star Citizen. They just released a new update to actually allow like PvP combat.
I haven't.
But I just want to fly spaceships. I started like No Man's Sky, but that's just like a pain.
Yeah, I haven't ever tried No Man's Sky. I tried, I think, a beta or something like that on Star Citizen. Like I was able to play it for free for a little bit, but I never actually got into it.
Right.
I want to. And Star Citizen it's going to be like an Eve style game. With like, explain a little bit more about it to me, because I don't still.
So Star Citizen, I guess it's going to be like Eve, or like not really WoW. It's like everything's all based in space, and it's got like a lot of everything.
Is there
like yeah, there's like material
building?
I don't think it's got base building per se. I mean, there is like material gathering like in space, and you can go planet side, but we're talking about procedurally generated planets, where it's like you can fly your ship like from space, go down to a planet, and then like fly in the atmosphere of the planet. You can land on a like building in the planet, and then like go inside the building, and then they've got like cities developed and built up to where it's like,
and is there customization?
Want it to be? Yeah,
is
to
there
your
like
ship, and to your character,
okay.
and then they keep on adding more and more and more. I mean, this game's been in like alpha stage for like ever, and we're like, there's memes online saying like, yeah, this game will like never be finished, and it's been like, I think mainly crowdfunded, to where like these people are like buying into the game, and then the people are, the development teams taking the money and putting it towards making the game better, adding like all this stuff to it.
I might have to check it out. I might have to get it just to give it a run and see, because I mean, I've heard a lot about it. I've been really interested in it, and a big part of the reason why I built this computer, not only for like, streaming and stuff like that, but also so I could play games like Star Citizen.
Right. Oh, yeah. Let's see. I'm going to try and like bring it up and see like how much it is right now. But yeah, they just added like a battlefield style, open PvP like combat. So, I didn't like feature in like one of our stories for the week. But I'm just waiting for this thing to load. So let's put a pin in that until I can figure this out. Like I said, it says like play now. All right, so all right, this is what I'm looking at. It's like I clicked play now, and then all right, here we go. Mustang Alpha Pack, so $45, or you get like, so you get like 2 ships.
So it's $45 for those ones, and these are just different levels of alpha, right? Alpha contributor, basically.
These are 2 starting ships that you can have.
Okay.
And like your basic ship. So you got the alpha, you've got a self-land hangar, you get 1,000 money, 3-month insurance, and you get the digital download. Yeah, $45. So I mean, it's still cheaper than like a full-fledged game, but what makes this expensive is like how much is involved. So Squadron 42, this is the new DLC that just came out. So you actually get to so it's a single player campaign in the universe currently in development, and so this is where you can actually fight people. Yeah, but you can upgrade your ship, and you can like walk around your ship. Like you're in the cockpit and you see like everything, and then you can leave your chair and then like traverse like your ship if it's like big enough. So like there's just like so much detail that they added in like in activities for you to like actually do in this game. I really need to
And Star
I'm
Citizen's
gonna
not
try that.
a Steam game, is it?
No. Same thing with like Tarkov. It's off of Steam. I mean,
All right.
will it be on there one day? Maybe. But the other thing is because Steam takes royalties, you know,
Yeah, that's right.
they take a percentage just like Epic. Wow, talk about a segue. Let's see. I got a couple more. I got this and like maybe one. This and like one more story for games, and then I got more into like movies and TV. So let me finish this Warzone story. The one that we like barely talked about before we just like went off track. A handful of Call of Duty Warzone leakers have been floating around rumors of a new map, which is supposed to come in April. Could lead to lobbies having 250 players in it, but there are reasons for it to be skeptical. Prior to the launch of Warzone, there are many questions about how the battle royale would work. Would it be as realistic as PUBG or a little more lighthearted like Fortnite? If it's Fortnite, just leave it. Just quit. How big would the lobbies be? Questions were answered shortly thereafter. 150 players being able to dive into the game in Verdansk. Another update looming large, seemingly bring a new map to the table. Leakers have been claiming the new lobbies will be expanded way beyond their current limit. Let's see. Some guy dropped information in January saying that Raven Software and Treyarch have been testing it out. This new map, which is supposed to be bigger than the current map, but it's not going to be as graphically heavy.
So
new Warzone map is extremely large, so much that it has 23 locations, more vehicles, and talks to be 250 players. So get on the hype train for this. Which I think like the map now is like, in my opinion, like pretty huge for a BR game. And there's actually a good amount of stuff. Yeah, there are spaces where like you have to traverse across like plains and nothingness to get there, which is why vehicles are so nice. That and like if you roll single player, like you need that. You need a vehicle. So
and did it sound like you were, when you're reading it, it said that the graphics aren't going to be as good?
No. It's not going to be GPU. It's not going to be as GPU bound.
Okay.
Right. Because sometimes when like you get into like a highly dense area, and so your GPU has to render more textures and more pixels and everything, and then you can get like frame drops from that. So they're gonna better optimize the map frame wise and like performance wise they're gonna make it so it runs better. Now, if they mean that it's not as graphically bound as before, and we get in there and it's just like deserts and nothingness, because they're going to be like, oh, it's the mountains, there's nothing in the mountains, that's going to be some major BS.
Yeah,
which I'm pretty sure a lot of people will rage for it, but
I was just looking at Star Citizen, just because I wanted to see what other packages. Did you know there's a freaking package for buying the game or whatnot that costs $1,100?
Yeah. But all right, I'm gonna have to go back because I just saw like those two basic ones.
Yeah, there's one. This one comes with like 6 ships and all kinds of stuff. But
can you toss it up on the screen?
Yeah. Hold on, let me go over there real quick. Share screen. Content. This one right here. So yeah, $1,100. And it comes with this expedition ship, another expedition ship.
Right.
This one looks like it's actual buggies or cars, but it says it's a ship. So
yeah.
And then these ones, and it comes
yeah,
with
the Drake Dragonfly.
so
Like, yeah, but you see that Drake Dragonfly, the black, yeah, that one right there. That thing's huge.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and so you get to fly like this massive like battleship or like a freighter type, and it's like, yeah, you can walk around that. Yeah, there's like a whole bunch.
Yeah, and these ones are actually ground vehicles, so you can take the cars and drive around on planets.
Uh-huh.
Then it also comes with digital download for it. You get the Squadron 42. You get 20,000 money.
Right.
An in-game plushie, lifetime insurance, and an industrial hangar.
Where did you go to see all those?
I went to the main Roberts Space Industries, and it said
Yeah.
to look at all their game, the pledge store. So I just went to the pledge store.
Oh, pledge store.
Mm-hmm.
$1,100. That's some dedication.
Yeah, you got to be into the game quite a lot.
Right. But I'm pretty sure, I don't know, you're like almost set for life at that point.
Yeah, as far as the game goes, yeah, you're coming in. I would say that's almost pay to win in that aspect, because that seems like you're getting in-game stuff right there just because you can.
Yeah,
afford.
but like you see some of these ships, you know, like, oh, here's the other one, the Constellation Aquila. That thing is like massive.
Mm-hmm.
Like, where is it? Let's do that. If it'll pop up.
Constellation.
Yeah, this. You can fly that.
Is that just a ship you can buy?
That's one of them. And that's like ridiculous. Yeah, so you can fly like this one or this one or this one, and it's like, Jesus.
61 meter.
Another one, awesome. Like,
it can have up to 4 human crew members.
Yeah.
Huh.
What other game does that?
I don't know. Here's another one. This one's going to be even bigger than that. The Polaris. I don't understand how it's such a big ship, though. It's supposed to be a Corvette. But.
Well, I mean, look at, like, Star Wars. They have the Hammerhead Corvette, and that's, like, one of the biggest ships that, like, the Republic has.
True.
What'd you say it was called?
Hold on. Let me get back to it. It is the Polaris.
Oh. So these are all Constellation classes. These giant mothers. Buying options. $310 if you want to buy. If you want to get the package that has the Constellation Aquila. Or similar ships. All right, come on, view all ships. There's a heavy fighter. Pathfinder, so the Terrapin, that's probably the one that you would use for like expedition and mining, gathering resources. Oh, this Hornet Wildfire looks pretty cool. This fighter.
Yeah.
So medium fighter, that's a Pathfinder, a heavy fighter, an expedition, cargo. Like, oh yeah, so there's Polaris Corvette. Is that the one you were talking about? Sorry, guys. We're going down this other rabbit hole. We're kind of excited about this game. I mean, if you guys saw it, like, look, views from, like, inside the ship. Like, come on. Well, are you going to, like, change images on me? Come on. No, there it goes. Inside the corridor from the outside. Look, there's the bridge. Like, you get to walk around this thing. Anyways, where did Athen go? I'm sitting here talking to myself. Anyways, let's not have me so big. Go back to this. All right. So let's just keep it rolling. Athen will join back in whenever he can. One of the other big stories is that EA Play, which is EA's like basically their Game Pass, where they have their game library for like an online subscription, and you can access a lot of their key titles, their up and coming big games. Game Pass just added their whole library that is on EA Play to Game Pass. So you don't even need to purchase EA Play anymore. I mean, just get it all through Game Pass. So this is an older story on the 17th. Oh, St. Patty's Day. This news came out. But EA teamed up with Xbox Game Pass, and yeah, EA Play membership will be at no additional cost. This went live on the 18th. They have more than 60 titles of EA's biggest and best PC games, like Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order. Oh, I get to play that now. I'll have to like hook my controller up. FIFA 20, Titanfall 2, Need for Speed Heat, Battlefield, Madden. I'm gonna pull up like my Xbox Game Pass thing, and then like we could actually see what's on there.
Like the YouTube, because they've been running. I was saying they've been running a YouTube commercial like every single day, like over and over every single day since they dropped that. They released that news, and
right.
It's showing all the games they have on there. It's a big thing.
All right, here we go. So I'm in. Oh, I have the EA desktop. EA and their proprietary software, like, yeah. Because I think
you're talking about EA, not Bethesda.
Yeah, EA.
Okay.
So like, what was it? I tried to play like a Star Wars Squadrons. I had tried to play. I got it through the Epic store, but in order to play this game, Epic has to then launch Origin in order for me to play this game. Mm-hmm. And it's like, it's stupid. So like, yeah, so you can see see all the games on the EA desktop app. I guess I'll have to download that. Sims 4, there's Star Wars Squadrons, Madden, Command & Conquer, Jedi Fallen Order, there's Battlefield 5, Battlefront 2. They even have Crysis on here.
I think I've got the EA Game Pass on my PlayStation.
Right. But see, it's like, I'm glad I didn't get this because now it's on, it's all on Game Pass. No Way Out, Titanfall series, Dead Space series. Oh, I might have to stream the Dead Space series now. Oh, sorry, guys. I haven't been streaming. I've been like lazy, watching anime and like playing Apex. Madden's there's all the Mass Effects.
So
Need for Speed.
All these EA games are now on the Microsoft Game Pass.
Yep.
Okay.
All this. See, I have my Game Pass app opened up. Yeah, so I got like a few things. Oh,
I think I must have this on my computer. Yeah, I've got it on the computer too, because I've got Spore and I've got
right
SimCity too. I used to love those games, SimCity, and SimCity 2000, Spore, all that stuff. Yeah,
so all these games are now free if you just pay Microsoft, the $10 or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
So, Epic has some competition now. Steam, Steam's just like a marketplace, so they can really care less.
Mm-hmm.
I swear if Steam does like a subscription service, I'm gonna just rage quit so hard.
Rage quit life.
Yeah. It's like, like how would you feel if like Amazon charged you a subscription fee to just use the basic function of Amazon?
I mean, that would in that
because Prime's different. Prime, you get perks, right?
Yep.
You know, like free shipping and then like access to like a whole bunch of other stuff. But it was like, Google had like a subscription service.
That wouldn't be a very good business model for them though, because that would crash them. Because it
right,
like
but
nobody.
That's the joke.
Oh yeah, because
Right.
it's like nobody would go to Steam anymore if you had to pay in order to be able to buy games. Like if Steam went to a subscription based thing where you were able to
and these are all free.
Download so many games per month or whatever,
right.
you know, that would make a little more sense. But but yeah. One thing I wish is Sims were multiplayer. That would be fun as hell if they made Sims a multiplayer game. You're muted, Don.
Yeah, I was trying to like think and like put like my comments together or my thoughts together where it's like, how would that really work? Because it would have to be like an MMO. But if like
even if they made it just like co-op to where like you could in your family you could have one person run one character, another person run another character, and you kind of play the game instead of having to control each character individually, you know?
Yeah, but you would do that, but then you would also have to work at like who gets what control, like the build menu and like buying stuff and controlling other NPCs. Are other NPCs being able to be controlled? Because when you go into like the buy menu, like, you know, everything pauses. So like you're going to have like limited availability. I mean, I guess if you had like a specific online mode, but then you also have, you know, people that would just troll other people and like, because I don't think they allow murder in the game yet. So, I mean, at least you don't have to worry about PvP. And like, Sims, oh, come over to my murder house. Why hasn't The Sims added that DLC?
That would be awesome. You could just live out your fantasies of being a
Sims 5 with the new H.H. Holmes murder house DLC. Oh man. Or welcome to my sex dungeon.
50 Shades of Sims.
Yeah, right. All right. Yeah, do you have anything else video games?
Not that I can think of right now.
All right. I've got only a few stories for movies and TV. So we talked about this on a previous episode. The Last of Us TV series. So apparently some news came out that they're actually going to make some big changes to the actual story.
Oh, really?
Yeah. All right. So according to good old trusted GameSpot.
So with the story of The Last of Us, like especially with the first one.
Yep.
Because at the end you have multiple endings. There's a couple different ways the story can end. You can either choose to kill her, or you could choose to, you know, let her live. So that would make it a little difficult to make a movie on it or a series on it. But
right.
And then I'm just confusing myself even more because The Last of Us 2 goes based off the thought process of you saved her at the end of the first one. So
okay.
But yeah. Go ahead, continue.
All right. So, for those who don't know, The Last of Us show is being produced by HBO, and it's adapting to the original game. So, at least for the first season, fans shouldn't expect to know exactly what happens. But in fact, there are certain parts of it that will differ pretty significantly from the original material.
I mean, it kind of makes sense, though. They have to.
Right. So, Neil Druckmann, who wrote and served as creative director for both games and is executive producing the show, said the action level will be toned down on the show, obviously. I mean, you'll save money that way. And it's less than necessary when there are no mechanics to teach, allowing... Oh, yeah. Yeah, let's not have a tutorial section in the show. Yeah. So yeah, writers will spend more time focused on drama between characters. Additionally, there will be points where events are completely different from the game. Some of my favorite episodes so far have been or have deviated greatly from the story, and I can't wait for people to see them. It's a very linear story-based game, easy clocking and more that so you can easily drop 20 hours. And since the adaptation is a series rather than a movie, more opportunities to tweak the story. So they can milk it.
Mm-hmm. I mean, like I was saying, I kind of get it because you do have to have a little bit more of the character development in a series than you do in a game,
Right.
Because you get attached to the characters in a game because you're playing as, the characters.
Yeah.
So I get that. And then it was stated, it's a TV series, not a movie. So, with a game, this is why I was saying they're going to have to change it some because they've got to add all that content to be able to make it a series because there's no way they'll be able to make a series just based off of the game.
Yeah, and you can't have like absolute like character choices and deaths and development and stuff in a series, especially one that's like they're trying to milk out. But HBO does do great series. However, they fail at ending series and wrapping them all up.
Right.
Like, I mean, multiple ones. I mean, like The Sopranos, Game of Thrones. Like, I'm still watching The Wire, and I'm also kind of apprehensive on how that ends. I hear like a lot of the shows just end horribly. Like they start them off great, and there's like a lot of buildup, and then like they don't know how to end it, and so they just like throw it off of a cliff. Not even fizzled it. Yeah, they just like wreck it.
I think the only HBO series I've actually watched was Game of Thrones. I don't think I've watched anything else.
Yeah, I'm
HBO.
gonna get into The Sopranos and probably Oz sometime here. Maybe Deadwood. So I don't know. Time will tell. All right. So speaking of HBO, at the end of the month. Oh, I didn't even I'll talk about it later. Yeah, all right. So at the end of the month, you got Godzilla versus Kong. It's Control Plus. Here's what people are. So yeah, we've got some reactions based off of it, and here's what people are saying.
On King Kong versus Godzilla.
So directed by Adam Wingard and the new blockbuster starring Alan Skarsgård, Millie Bobby Brown, Kyle, all these other actors. And here's a quick recap. In the years following the events featured in Godzilla, Kong Skull Island, and Godzilla King of Monsters, Monarch embarks on a perilous mission into fantastic uncharted terrain, unearthing clues to the Titan's very origins. Human conspiracy threatens to wipe out creatures both good and bad from the face of Earth forever. So in a recent video, so they just released a video that explains why the two monsters are fighting. Now I just need to see the fight. All right, so whoever Adam Holmes is, I guess from Cinema Blend, he calls it solid. He admits the movie could have used more time to explore the mythology of the Titans and thinks that fans won't be disappointed by their epic fight for ages. Another solid MonsterVerse installment, while more time can be used exploring the franchise's deeper mythology. If you're chiefly looking forward to seeing Godzilla and King Kong collide and fight for the ages, you won't be disappointed. All right, I'm just going off of the tweets from these verified people because verified people are the only ones that count. Godzilla vs. Kong is not exactly a mind blower, but it's definitely a fun watch. A plot-heavy first act is balanced by some impressive monster battles, some wonderful design work. Wish it felt more like a MonsterVerse capstone, but I like it for the movie that it is. one hell of a ride. Feels like some stuff's missing. Flies on a greased rail. So it's very linear. So the fights are good. But I mean, so it's like what I expect. Oh, parry number off. Problem is it should be the Titan fights are the best parts. Well, duh. That's why people watch these movies, is for the monsters fighting, not for the human actors giving exposition and BS plot devices and points and character development and drama. Like nobody cares. Like even that was like my problem with like the first Godzilla movie. It's like he was in the movie for like not even 5 minutes, and everything else was like based off of these characters. And yes, the way movies are made and with the way the budget is with CGI, yeah, I get it. But you can't like complain where it's like, oh, my movie isn't successful when you call it Godzilla and you hardly show Godzilla. You know?
Yeah. It's like, how do you get up calling this Godzilla?
Right. It's like even like superhero movies. Like, yeah, how are you gonna have a movie called Superman and you barely show Superman?
Mm-hmm.
Or you just see Clark Kent, which is probably why what is that? Superman Returns suffered so much. And it's like, yeah, we don't care about Clark Kent and all of his problems. We want to see Superman. Right? But
Clark Kent is Superman.
Yeah, we don't care. Just like Spider-Man. It's like, yeah, show Spider-Man doing Spider-Man stuff. We can care less about Peter Parker and his teen problems. Oh, I got to make another TikTok. I don't know what to do for content. Wait, what?
NC-17 cut of what the hell? How is that even?
All right, so I just stumbled upon this, as you guys just saw. So Robin Williams, Mrs. Doubtfire director, responds to rumors of an NC-17 cut of the film.
How is that even possible, though?
I don't know. They make the bodysuit like anatomically correct. They put like nipples on it. Okay. They really don't need to mess with this movie. Let's see. Fans became anxious when rumors recently began to claim that an NC-17 cut of the film existed. I mean, I guess if like dialogue, I don't know, can dialogue and like jokes can like push a movie to NC-17 territory? It could definitely push it to like rated R.
Yeah, because that was a PG-13 movie, wasn't it?
Yeah. But it's like if you've seen like Robin Williams stand up, and it's like, all right, I can definitely get that.
I don't know the NC-17 though. I guess maybe
for dialogue that he would have to say some raunchy stuff.
Yeah,
I mean, which Robin Williams has comedically.
Mm-hmm.
In a recent viral tweet, alleged that there are 4 cuts of the movie in existence, ranging from PG to NC-17. Sometime before the tweet began making the rounds, film co-star Mara Williams also mentioned the possibility of multiple cuts, but could not confirm the existence of NC-17 rated 1. Many attribute the theorized existence of the alleged cut to be the improv of Robin Williams, who's said to have tried a number of things across different takes.
Okay.
After hearing rumors of the cut, provided that a bit of clarity when came to Robin Williams' work, director explained that he, as a late great star, blah blah blah. Reality is that there was a deal between Robin and myself, which was he'll do 1 or 2, 3 scripted takes, and then he would say, "Let me play," and we'd basically go anywhere between 15 and 22 takes. I think 22 being the most I remember. Yeah, so it's basically what we were saying. Here we go. He would sometimes go into territory that wouldn't be appropriate for a PG-13 movie, but certainly appropriate and hilariously funny for an R-rated film. I only previously used phrase NC-17 as a joke. There could be no NC-17 version of this movie. So yeah. So based off of language, yeah, it would go into like rated R territory, but not NC-17. NC-17 is a bit much.
You'd have to get real, because NC-17 is just like, that's like soft porn status right there. So
yeah, because I think like so it's like rated R, you're supposed to be 18 and up, but like your parent or guardian can like allow you to see it. But like I think like NC-17 is like it doesn't matter. It's like you have to be 17 and up.
Yep. So and that like I said, dialogue that would have to be some shit that even us on the ships would blush over.
No. I'm pretty sure it would fall right into where we feel comfortable.
Right.
Just release like the blooper reel. Just release like the outtakes.
Mm-hmm.
We'd be happy with that. Don't mess with the movie. I don't know. That one has like that movie's I hold that one near and dear to my heart. So it came out at a time when like my parents were getting divorced and that movie's about divorce. And so it's like, yeah, don't mess with that movie.
It was a pretty good movie. I liked it. I watched it a bunch of times. I liked the part where they're on the table singing the 90 by Nature song. That was 90 by Nature, right?
And like the very beginning?
Yeah. Jump, Chris.
No, that's Crisscross.
Was it Crisscross?
Yeah, Crisscross gonna make you jump.
I never eat a pig because a pig is a cop. Better yet, I'm a Terminator, like Arnold Schwarzenegger. That wasn't Crisscross, was it?
No, those lyrics are from House of Pain Jump.
Yes, there we go. That's the song. When they're on the coffee table.
Yeah.
Doing...
yeah.
Oh, hello.
Yeah, Crisscross Jump.
Okay, Crisscross did Jump. And
that was like their one-hit wonder.
Mm-hmm.
And then wearing pants backwards.
Yes, there was that.
All right. Speaking of HBO, man, we still got over 20 minutes left. I've only got like 2 stories left. Oh. So, King Kong and Godzilla come out at the end of this month on the 31st, I believe. And next month in April, Mortal Kombat's coming out. HBO's, they're figuring out this whole current living situation, streaming service releasing, content.
Mm-hmm.
They had Wonder Woman 84 or 1984 released on their streaming service and in theaters. They got Justice League Snyder Cut released on their streaming platform, and they've got King Kong coming out end of this month. They've got Mortal Kombat coming out this month. Oh, they released the Tom and Jerry movie as well.
Mm-hmm. I didn't even know that was happening.
Yeah, and I think there was like several more movies that are coming out.
And then even more, I want to know about what the Tom and Jerry movie, considering all this cancel culture shit that's going on right now. Like, did that affect the Tom and Jerry movie any part? Because Tom and Jerry, you're talking about like the old school Looney Tunes characters, Tom and Jerry, right?
I don't think Tom and Jerry was. I think. All right, I don't think Tom and Jerry was Looney Tunes. I think Tweety from Tom and Jerry made the cut for Looney Tunes.
Yes,
but I don't think Tom and Jerry were actually officiated.
Okay,
we'll say. And if anything, if any part of cancel culture is going to affect Tom and Jerry, I think it's going to be the stereotypical black maid housekeeper mom person that was in the old cartoons, but they didn't specify that she was like, like the Help, even though she was dressed up like it. But then again, I don't know. But Whoopi Goldberg's been like pioneering for cartoons to be kept the same in order to preserve culture and time. To say like, hey, these things happened. Let's not change and edit history.
Yeah, I mean, getting rid of it, just hiding it, be like, oh no, we don't like that. This is offensive. Covering it all up just opens it up for it to, because people are going to, lose the it's going to get lost eventually. Like people are going to forget. It's it's not going to be right there. We're not going to have examples of it. So it's going to come around. That's how I feel.
Yeah, just like Disney made all the World War II propaganda cartoons disappear.
Mm-hmm.
That nobody hardly ever talks about. But Disney's a powerhouse in of itself, so they have the ability to make that stuff disappear. But what was it? Pepe Le Pew getting canceled because of promoting rape culture? Yeah, I completely agree with that. I mean, even knew then that was like messed up.
Mm-hmm. I mean, I get, but there's canceling it. I don't see the point of canceling it. I mean, if it was a show that was currently being made and all that stuff, and it was still actively happening, it'd be like, okay, yeah, you can't do that anymore. But this is content that it already exists. It's existed for 70 years. I mean, what is? Oh no, we can't have this. What good is that going to do? Like, it's not going to achieve anything other than hiding that it ever existed. And
yeah, but so it depends on how they do it.
Mm-hmm.
So because they did the same thing with Speedy Gonzalez, right, where he's racially offensive on how he's portrayed against Hispanics, right? All right, that makes sense. And so what they did was, I believe Warner Brothers owns the Looney Tunes. So what they did is, like, in new cartoons, they just, changed what his character was about. They took, because like always in the old cartoons, he was about like trying to steal stuff, run really fast to like get in like buildings or like sneak stuff in and out and like all this other stuff. But like so I mean, they just changed his character, right? So it's like Pepe Le Pew, it's like they can just change his character instead of like completely delete him from existence. I mean, what would be like some new like cartoon concept where you have like Pepe Le Pew as like a matchmaker of like some dating company or whatever? I mean, they could still like find a way around it, but
yeah, I mean, yes, I get that, but I don't know.
Yeah, it's really tricky.
It is.
I mean, because
on one hand, like I grew up with, well, it was stuff that was way before even I growing up, but I remember seeing the cartoons and Pepe Le Pew, and it was funny. It's like he's always getting turned down by the girl, but you're watching him slither up, kind of snake up around, and all the hearts, and so in love with.
Yeah.
It's like did everyone from my age go out and become a rapist like that? No, it's
not everybody, but
no, not everybody.
But I get it. But then again, you also forget about like the comedical aspects of like that, what that cartoon was. It was like, yeah, he's chasing after was usually a cat, and he's getting turned down, but he's like, also it's the slapstick comedy of that cartoon of him getting like hurt and like all of his like trials of like stuff falling on him, like him like going through like this gauntlet of stuff to like try and like get this female, and they put that slapstick aspect into it, and that was the part that was comedically funny, right?
Yeah,
it's not like I watched it and I was like, oh, I think that's right. I mean, yeah, I can see how it is, how he is like super rapey, but I mean, it's like, I mean, as a character, like, just don't completely delete him, but yeah, make the content like less accessible, and like, yeah, I mean, if you drop it off, the face of the earth, and you do, but you can't just say like, oh, this character never existed ever again, right? So
I'm there with you on that. I'm there with you.
Right. So this one I found interesting. It was they're saying how new Mortal Kombat movie was inspired by Lord of the Rings, which that in and of itself is is clickbait.
Yeah, I'm trying to figure out here how.
Yeah, the upcoming Mortal Kombat movie was inspired in part by another gigantic Warner Brothers property, Lord of the Rings. The producer, Todd Garner, said in an interview that the filmmakers on Mortal Kombat turned to Lord of the Rings film early on in this process while mapping it out. Just like Lord of the Rings has numerous characters with their own interconnecting stories, just like Mortal Kombat. So when we really researched all the lore and fantasies and rules of mythology in Mortal Kombat, really looked at it like Lord of the Rings. John Tobias and Ed Boon created this tone that's so thick and complex and amazing in terms of all the crazy different characters. You have ninjas, you have soldiers of fortune, you've got clones and aliens, ex-police officers. There's so many characters. The challenge then, how do you bring them all together? I don't know. You also could have looked at like Marvel movies and stuff. The production team used in Lord of the Rings as a template on how to best go about this. Garner said, similar to how the writers of Lord of the Rings movies needed to cut things out and change the story to make it work better on screen. Same is true with the Mortal Kombat film. In the novel, you have like 1,000 pages. You have to distill it down into 2 hours. You have to make choices. You have to be smart about the essence of what's happening. So when we set to make about movies, we start developing, and that's how we began. It's about being respectful to the canon, to the rules of the mythology, as with a novel. See, the only problem about like Lord of the Rings, like using that as an example, was that Lord of the Rings was split up within the movie, where it's like you almost have two separate movies like three separate movies in those movies. Like the second, all right, so I'm gonna explain this for anybody that doesn't know. So the first Lord of the Rings, Fellowship of the Ring, right? You have all these multiple characters, and they pretty much team up in order to go out and destroy the ring. But by the end of the movie, everybody splits up, right? So movie 2, the Two Towers, movie Towers, movie 3, Return of the King. Those two movies are basically can be broken down into like 3 movies within those movies based on what characters they follow, because they're completely separate. You know, you have like your Frodo and Sam arc, you've got your Merry and Pippin arc, and then you've got like your Aragorn, Legolas, and Gimli arc, right?
They could have
they're like all separate. They're like they don't even interact with each other. Mm-hmm. So for Mortal Kombat to like say, oh, we're taking these characters and we're splitting them off and they're doing their own thing, right?
So maybe they're saying that the Mortal Kombat movie, there's going to be multiple movies. It's going to be more a series than anything.
Oh, I'm sure if it's like widely successful, they would definitely.
Because that's the only like Mortal Kombat is going to be to kind of set the backstory, set the stage, kind of give you your lore throughout it, and then from there.
But you should also not make a movie based on the fact of, hey, I have a story to tell, but I'm gonna do it in multiple movies, right?
True.
I believe that you should have them like, unless it's a dedicated, like trilogy, mm-hmm. or like just like at least with one sequel, you should have a movie that's good by itself. Right.
So,
but you shouldn't leave plot holes to like say, "Oh, give me a sequel."
Yeah, and I think what might happen, or how they could do it, is kind of like how the Marvel movies were done. Like they were even the earlier ones. Like Iron Man was the first one I think that came out in this current like MCU journey and all the movies. Right. So they made Iron Man as a standalone movie to where once when you watched it start to finish, you're happy, but they also left it to where you could kind of tell that it's going to be in this arc of movies and all that. And I guess that's what you're kind of saying with this Mortal Kombat. If they make it just a movie where they want where they can just have Mortal Kombat be a standalone movie, but leave it open for it to continue on.
So a good example would be the first Matrix, right? Mm-hmm. Great by itself. There didn't have to be a sequel. The way it ended left the door open, but it didn't leave plot holes to say I need a sequel in order to have these answers or to have these questions answered, right?
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. Don't build in these plot devices to say that this movie sucks. In order to make it better, you have to give me a sequel, right?
Mm-hmm.
So the first Matrix movie, like by itself, fine, done. And if like they didn't make 2 and 3, people would still be happy, right? I mean, yeah, they would be clamoring for sequels because it's like, oh, now I need to see like all the powers and like everything that Neo can do. You know, I mean, they still want that, but it's not like, oh, I need to figure out why this happened, who's this character, and like all this other stuff. And it's like, yeah. So, but I think that Lord of the Rings is a bad example. And I hope that they don't go the Lord of the Rings route by separating all these characters and them having completely different stories under the umbrella of Mortal Kombat. I feel that they should treat it like an example, like the Avenger films, not Marvel movies per se, but the Avenger films, how it's like a big ensemble cast, right? Where you have this team, and then like everybody gets a good amount of screen time, right? And yeah, you may have some people that branch off and do everything else, but it's like everybody's keyed in a good amount, and there's good interaction, you know, and then there's like whatever epic, you know, congregation at like the end of it, right? So I don't know. I think that, but then again, if they would have said, "Oh, we based our movie off of Avengers," then everybody's going to be like, "Oh, they're going to have like a certain preconception, misconception of like the direction of the movie." So
yeah. So and I don't know. I feel that like Mortal Kombat could do this pretty well because I mean, if you look at Mortal Kombat, it is individual characters. It's, you know, whenever anyone played Mortal Kombat, everyone had their favorite person that they'd play with. Most often it ended up being Sub-Zero or Scorpion. But mine was always Raiden, though. But it's like, you know, you had people who chose those. So, and that's why I'm saying I think it might actually work really well if they did the movie where the first one is Mortal Kombat. It's kind of laying the scene for Mortal Kombat, shows everything. And it's, you know, a movie in a whole is opening up all the characters, introducing them to you. And at the end of the movie, you're going to be happy with the movie. But continuing on from there, they could do like a Sub-Zero movie and a Scorpion movie and a Raiden movie, kind of like that.
So I think a game that actually probably did a great job are like the past couple Mortal Kombat movie or games. Because they're played out like a movie with like cinematics, and yeah, you have like your fight scenes and all this other stuff. So like when they rebooted Mortal Kombat in 2000, what, like 11, 12, somewhere around there, you know, where so take the story out of it, but like how it was actually done, where you have like the group of people and they have like a task, and like everybody like goes and does like their thing. That was like a great way to like have all these characters interact instead of just tournament fight, you know what I mean? So yeah, so they could do it, and I mean they've done it in the games, and there's other movies that, you know, that have done it, but it's like using Lord of the Rings as an example. I mean yeah, when you have like 2 movies that have like three separate storylines, it's like kind of hard to like use that as an example. Anyways, yeah, we're almost out of time, so we're going to touch base on one more story and thoughts on one other thing. We've got Falcon and Winter Soldier review. The MCU returns to an epic thriller territory. The Marvel series opener brings some eye-popping espionage action, not really espionage yet, and major Captain America vibes to Disney Plus. Here we go. It felt like Falcon Winter Soldier arriving just 2 weeks after WandaVision's glorious sitcom weirdness, which was actually not too bad. It starts, me personally, WandaVision was kind of rough starting out, but then as soon as it like picked up traction, like by the 4th episode, I want to say, I was like hooked. But then again, I waited for like the series to be done stayed offline from like any spoilers, and then I just like binged the rest of it. So, but then again, it was kind of rough. Those first few episodes, they were unique in what they were trying to do, but I don't know. It just didn't sit well with me. Let's see. The first episode streamed Friday, and they will stream on Fridays. Delivers an upfront with Sam Wilson, aka the Falcon, immediately embarking on a visually stunning aerial rescue, which was actually a pretty cool scene. Scene mirrors the opening set piece to 2014's Captain America Winter Soldier, subtly reminding us that Steve Rogers chose Sam as the next person to wield the iconic shield. Big shoes. Sam doesn't think anyway. Yeah, I'm not going to get into the synopsis of the show. And so, yeah, you get a first look at Sam back in Louisiana with his family, dealing with his return and how, because like his family survives, like, you know, the Thanos snap. Mm-hmm. So it's like, you know, just him dealing with his family. And then you also have Bucky's character, him dealing with PTSD and all of his trauma from like the Hydra brainwashing. So anyways, this is basically a rundown of the episode and not like, you know, reviews on like people praising it or like giving like reviews or reactions to it. I mean, have you seen this?
I have not.
Okay, so I've seen it, and I mean, it definitely feels like old shoes of Marvel doing what they do best with, you know, characters, great action, hidden story behind it. I mean, I'm definitely going to be tuning in for more and see what else happens with it. But we're wrapping up here. I've been hyping it up for the past few weeks and finally was able to watch all of it. Justice League Snyder Cut. It's on HBO. Yeah, it's 4 hours long, but I found it to be yeah, I don't want to say, yeah, I'll say amazing compared to the one that was actually released in theaters. Like a lot of stuff, like cinematically, everything was shot so much better. How everybody was talking about like, oh, DC should have did the Marvel route and released all these individual movies before releasing this team movie. No, they didn't need to do that. They just needed to release the movie how it was supposed to be, because everybody gets their screen time. You know, they set up these characters like who they are. There's like, you know, backstory to them. And then they just like combine everybody in at the end. But you can't release like a 4-hour movie in theaters, right? Mm-hmm. That's not realistic.
Yeah.
And there's some stuff that you could cut out. I mean, there's a lot of Zack Snyder slow-mo, and I wasn't crazy about the color palette because I wish it would have been brighter, but it was like way better. So, I mean, the hype is real, unless you're going to be like, you know, a complete movie critic. But if you want like a good movie, it doesn't feel it's 4 hours long. There's like a lot of stuff that happens, and if like, you know, if you got like quarter of a day to kill, you might as well check it out.
But, let's see. I wanted to get to the comments real quick. April Mueller, she was watching the whole show. She said sometime you got to talk about the AI stuff. So last week on It's 1700 Somewhere, she had a question about AI. I can't remember exactly what it was, but I answered a little bit on the 1700 Somewhere show, and I told her that would be a better question for on this show. We don't have time to get to it this week. Don's not going to be here next week, so we'll probably make sure you're watching us the week after next and bring up the question so I remember what it was and we can discuss that then.
Yeah, or April, like during the show, bring up that topic, or if there's like an article or something that you would like to share to the Ale Train Fighters Facebook page, you can do that. Anybody can do that, really. If there's something you want us to talk about, either DM us on that page or just like immediately share something to that page, and we'll try to make something happen.
Or maybe if Don is nice enough to join me on it 1700 somewhere today, because Cameron's not going to be here, we might be able to cover it then.
All right, we'll put a pin on it. Well, it's about that time. So thanks everybody for watching. And as always, I'm Don.
I'm Athen.
And we'll see you guys next week.
Later.
Bye.